This morning on In Depth Today, an ominous new warning about artificial intelligence.
A one-sentence statement that was co-signed by some of the field's leading executives and researchers claims there is a risk that AI could lead to human extinction, and mitigating the risk should be a global priority.
NBC's tech correspondent Jacob Ward joins us with what we need to know. It's obviously raising alarms. It's meant to do so. 22 words. Let's read it. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority, alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war. I mean, this is an incredible statement, Jake, but also who signed it is really important. Tell us about that.
Well, that's right. We're talking here, certainly about some of the top minds in the field, at least some of the top minds across companies. You have executives from OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and a host of academic institutions signing this statement. And what it's really about, of course, is the sort of bad news end of the kind of science fiction movie you might imagine, right? We're talking here about the possibility that AI might become so smart that it eventually slips the bonds of human command and begins to make its own decisions, and perhaps decisions that won't be good for humanity, right? That's the level of extinction risk that they are talking about here. It's important to note that, of course, we do not have that technology yet. This is a theoretical outcome down the road, but this is a bunch of the top minds across the industry and across academia saying that they want to get on the right side of doing so and take it very seriously.
I think people are probably wondering, like, how afraid should I be of this? As you said, the top minds are on this, and they use these scary big words. But what's like a regular person supposed to think about what's going on right now?
Well, certainly it is really important to understand that we are nowhere near the kind of artificial general intelligence that people theorize could lead to an event like this. And I think it's also really important, Hoda, to remember that while we can all agree, as this statement does, that, being enslaved by robots is a bad thing, there's a lot of short-term stuff here that people are not agreeing on. And while a lot of these people seem to have come together on one side of things, you have a lot of these people at the same time working as hard as they can to make money as quickly as they can off of AI. The signatories include people like OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, who is part of this global race right now to dominate AI. So there's some sort of cognitive dissonance here around people saying we need to watch out for this particular outcome, but we're not going to slow down the development of AI in the meantime.
Hey, Jake, the phrase that you just used, slipping the bonds of human command, explain what that would look like if AI were to take over. How would that play out?
Well, the potential, right? The sci-fi movie is the Terminator scenario. That's what people worry about in this sort of broader sense, right? That if you were to hand over really important functions to AI and then it decides, well, this outcome you have told me to aim for doesn't seem like the right one, I'm going to go for this one instead. That's the kind of thing people worry about, Craig. But it's the shorter term stuff that that I speak to are much more worried about. And they say that a statement like this, while it gathers a lot of attention, distracts us from shorter term questions. Should we be worried about, the potential for these systems to take away some of the jobs we depend on? Is it going to, decide whether I get a job in the future, whether I deserve a bank loan, right? These kinds of uses are already out there. And so while it's tempting to think only about the dangers in the long term of something like what these signatories are writing about here, it is the short term effects of AI that critics are telling me we should be most squarely focused on right now.
Well, and that's the thing I wonder about, Jake. A statement like this, it's explosive, it's terrifying just on its very terms. On the other hand, you have all these signatories. It's like they're getting on board. Yeah, we warned you, we're worried. And they're saying regulate us. But they're not agreeing on what the regulation should be. They don't even agree. What some experts are saying, well, just pause it. Do a timeout for 6 months while we figure this out. There's not broad agreement about that. So it feels a little bit like, we're being manipulated a little bit by this industry saying, oh, we're so worried about this, but we're just going to keep on going here and try to have a race to make the most money off of this.
Savannah, I think you're seeing this very clearly. When I talk to top AI executives across the industry, the theme that a lot of them land on is, yes, we want some sort of larger regulation, but let us, the industry, figure out what that should be. This is in part why you're seeing so many of these companies, in fact, trying to issue guidance to regulators about how they themselves should be regulated. And in this case, putting out a statement like the one that CEO Sam Altman and others have signed is a way of sort of saying, saying we have thought of bigger problems than you have, and in a sense, you should let us be in charge of ourselves to head off the kind of outcome that you wouldn't want. Now, the long-term play may, in fact, be worth thinking about in this case, but experts I speak to say, don't be distracted. Let's think about the short-term ways in which this stuff needs to be regulated, and that it may not be the best plan to hand those regulations to companies to devise. Instead, it should be our responsibility and the responsibility of lawmakers to think about how it is that we should put guardrails on this industry in the short term, not just in this science fiction long term that this statement lays out.
Yeah, exactly. It's the old fox watching the hen house kind of idea there. Jake, thank you very much. Stay on it. We'll keep following it. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.